guys, how's it going? And welcome to another edition of Man Up. I'm so excited but so nervous for this video. As you guys know, my one video, the men's women's contour, where I kind of split my face in half and do it as one side is a man, one side is a woman. That one's had like 10 times more views than anything else on my channel. And I've gotten a lot of comments asking for an updated version or for a version that includes powder, or I thought it would be better to just do an updated version, just kind of go through it, because when I did the video before, I was just kind of showing off the differences in between men's and women's contour, but only the way that I contour, and I didn't really go into depth about why we contour and what exactly you're doing when you're doing contouring. So I thought, why not do kind of 101 bare bones. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be talking about face. I'm not going to go in depth about eyes, nose, or mouth, because those are... I could do a whole video on how to contour your nose. I'm really excited to do this. I hope you guys learn a lot from it. And like I said, I'm just gonna give you the bare bones. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Okay, so basically the main reason why we contour is to create symmetry and to even out the different portions of our face. So before we get into anything, basically your face is divided into 3 sections. Everyone has a different name for what these sections are. I just call them section A, B, and C. So you've got section A, which is from your hairline to your eyebrow. Then you've got section B, which is from your eyebrow to the base of your nose. And then you've got section C, which is from the tip of your nose to the tip of your chin. The reason why we contour is because we want to make all of these sections both symmetrical, so one side of the section being equal to the other side of the section, as well as each section being equally long and wide. So that's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but basically just using my face, I have a very wide section A, a very small section B, and an average or medium-sized section C. So basically what I have to do when I contour is I need to shorten section A, I need to lengthen section B, and I need to shorten section C. By shortening section C, it actually lengthens section B. Now, how you do these sorts of manipulations to the proportions of your face is by using shadow and highlight. So basically whenever you want something to stick out or protrude or become more obvious, you want to add a highlight to that portion of your face. If you want something to become hidden, if you want something to recede into your face, so like for example, when I do this, I'm receding my cheeks into my face. So adding a contour or a shadow recedes a portion of your face inward. So using these tricks, we can manipulate the lengths of each section so that way our faces look more proportional. We can also widen and extend our face in this direction as well to make things look more symmetrical up and down, so that this side of your face looks equal to this side of your face. Contouring, what you're trying to do is create the most symmetrical and even face possible. Now, that being said, as you get more familiar with contouring, you can break the rules. You can do what you want to do with your face. For example, I like to produce that really long contoured line. It really widens my whole face out. I have a pretty long face already, so I don't need to lengthen my face, but I just really like how it looks, and I find it really makes my face look more chiseled and makes me look thinner. So everyone loves to look thinner. So let's go section by section, and we'll just kind of discuss ways that you can manipulate the proportions. As you can see, I'm going to be going in with my Maybelline contour sticks like I always do, but keep in mind that you can use any product as your base contour. You can use powder, you can use liquid, whatever you like. Just keep in mind that another product has to go on top of your base. So if it's something that's not easily blended or something that won't stay when you put another product on top of it, it probably isn't going to be suited for the contour. So here, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing the line really far down to shorten my forehead, and then create slanted lines on either end to both make my forehead shorter, but also make it less wide. And then I'm going to blend the contour into my hairline, so that way I don't have any really stark lines. So that way when I do build my liquid foundation on top of my cream contour, it won't, there won't be a lot of really harsh lines. So starting off with the forehead with section A, As you can see in the footage, there's a few ways that you can kind of switch up your proportions. Also, what I do is I use very sharp lines. As I talked about before in my contouring for men versus women, the only real difference in how you shape your contour for men versus women is that with women you want to create really soft, rounded, curved shapes. And then for men you want to create more harsh lines and angles. That being said, you can still use very bold, harsh lines on a woman. It just will give a more masculine feel. It'll give a more androgynous look. So if that's what you're looking for, go for it. You can use softer, rounder lines on a man, but it does normally tend to make you either look plump or very feminine. So it's up to you. So basically for section A, like I said, I wanted to shorten my forehead and I want to make it less wide. So I bring the shadows in and I bring the shadows down and create a very small highlight in the center, so that way I'm really minimizing the forehead and I'm receding all of this portion of my forehead. For example, if you have the complete opposite problem, say you have a very narrow and very short forehead and you want to lengthen it, you would add a very small shadow just at the hairline and a very small shadow at the sides and a very large highlight in the center of your forehead, because that would make it look as though your forehead's so big it's shooting out. I'm gonna move on to section B. Section B is probably one of the most played with sections because it's got your cheekbones. Here I'm doing my traditional cheek contour. I go above my cheekbone all the way down to my mandible. I find this thins me out, but also really lengthens my face, especially my section B. Now this contour here actually is a really great way to widen section Bs. It also shortens the face by halting the contour halfway through. Now the next one I lovingly refer to as the Nike check mark. Now this one helps to really round out the face, widen section B, and give a really rounded, fuller look to a face. It's also really great for people who are really thin and kind of want to fill it out a little bit more. When you're blending your cheek contour though, an important thing to keep in mind is never to blend above the line. You want to keep that lightness above the cheekbone to help it pop. So you could do a contour that is, say for example you do a contour up and down connecting with the mouth. That creates a longer face. As you can see the line pulling down in this direction. It adds a lot of length to your face. Also connecting it to the jaw creates a very feminine look. Men's jaws protrude more at the mandible than women's do, so if a woman were to contour down like I do, it would give the impression of a pronounced mandible, which would make her look more masculine. Whereas if a man did a contour that connected to the mouth, it would look as though his mandible is sunken in and would give him either the look of an underbite or a very feminine round face. You kind of do it on a straight angle right across. It actually shortens the face and creates width. So if you say have a, I don't know what the politically correct, or I don't know the nice way of saying this, but if you have like a horse face, like a really long, thin face, the best way to combat that would be with a straight across contour. To heighten the cheekbone and also make the face wider, you can actually create a contour, or sorry, a highlight from your temple, under your eye, and then at the bridge of your nose. To lengthen your face and shorten it widthwise, you can actually create what I like to call a clown mark, which is a under eye highlight that goes down to the bridge of the nose and stops just at the end of the eye. So if you have a rounder face, or if you have a very low cheekbone, you could do the temple to eye, and if you have the reverse, you can use the clown mark. That does is, because I'm making it such a long triangle, it's widening my section B, which is what I said before I need to do because my section B is so small in comparison to my A and my C. And then for section C, so for this section here, first I like to protrude my jaw forward, and then I like to add a highlight under my cheekbones to help to widen my face and also really make my cheekbones pop. You could blend all the way down. What that actually does is it gives the impression that your face is very triangular, and that at this point here, your face just kind of falls off. If you have a very, very square jaw or very wide protruding jaw, you could add a shadow from here all the way down and it would minimize your jaw. It would give your face a very round look. So it would look like these portions of your face don't exist at all. The main area for contour here is the jawline. Now this also depends on what kind of jawline you have. If you have a square jaw, if you have a triangular jaw, if you have a round jaw, and it all depends on what kind of shape you want to produce. For me, I'm very happy with the shape of my jaw, so what I like to do is just accentuate the lines that I already have. I just stop it at the cheek contour. I also like to add a little line there just to give my chin the impression that it's even more protruding. Now here, say I wanted to cut off the corner of my jaw and I wanted a more triangular face, I would just cut over that squaring end in the corner of my jaw. See here how I curl the corner? On the other side, just cut it right off. The most important thing to remember with a contour of any type is to blend, but especially at the neck, because this is where your skin tone in your face meets the skin tone of the rest of your face. So you have to really make sure that you're blending it out all the way, and really making sure that edge is really, really blurred, so that way when you do add your foundation, you don't end up with like a big brown shadow. The best reason to contour your jaw is because it's an instant weight loss. You look like you lost 10 pounds in 10 seconds. By adding shadow around the jawline, it gives the impression that this area here is sunken into your face, which gives the impression of you being thinner. You don't have an extra chin hanging out down there. It kind of helps to recede that area back into your body and makes you look thinner. Another thing to be wary of is here. A lot of people like to add a shadow here. I have added a shadow here to kind of protrude my chin forward. That's a very masculine thing to do. So this is what my completed highlight and contour looks like. So what I'm basically going to do is do a really medium coverage liquid foundation with my Quo blending sponge, nice and damp so it does its job perfectly. I usually use a stippling brush and blend it in like that, but this is just so much quicker and I find it does really give a much more airbrushed look. At this stage you could also apply a medium coverage powder foundation, like a loose mineral, or you could also use a full coverage powder foundation but apply it with a brush as opposed to applying it with a sponge, so that way you can get a more loose, light application. Also, you can lay down the contour with anything you like. It doesn't have to be cream, but I tend to enjoy cream with the liquid on top only because the cream doesn't move when I apply the liquid on top of it. So you just have to make sure that whatever you're using as your base will stay firm. So for example, you don't want to do a powder base and then build another powder on top, or build a liquid on top of the powder, because everything will just shift. So you can put a powder on top or a liquid on top, and it's usually best to keep the bottom a cream or liquid. So lastly, I just blend all the way down, and this is pretty much what it looks like all done. So I'm going to show you again what it looks like when I first started. This is what I looked like before, and then this is what I look like after the contour. I like a bolder contour, so I tend to choose a contour color and highlight color that's 4 to 5 shades lighter and darker than my skin tone. If you want something more neutral, just pick something closer to your natural skin tone. And last but not least, this is me after I've set my face with setting powder. So after I've set it, the contour kind of fades a little bit more and it looks a little bit more natural. I wasn't originally going to show you guys this, but I did notice that without this step, it did look really, really intense. So this is more what it'll look like. So that's basically the rundown of sections A, B, and C and how to kind of play around with the proportions. But keep in mind that you can do whatever you want to do. You can take these rules and do whatever you want to do with them and play around with your face. If you have a big forehead and you want to accentuate your big forehead, just create a really large highlight in the center of your forehead and really minimize that shadow and make your forehead look big if you want a huge looking forehead. Once you start to really play around with highlighting contour, you can start to see how much fun you can have with your face. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from my channel. Also, show me some love and give me a thumbs up if you liked my video, and do leave me questions in the comments below. If there was anything that wasn't clear, or if there's anything you want to know more about, please let me know. Also, if you have something to add, if there's something that I didn't touch on that you think is helpful, or little tips and tricks that you have that would make contouring easier for other people, I mean, share it. I would love to know too. I don't pretend to know everything, so I'm still learning. So please do share, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, and talk to you next time, bros and hoes.